Hey there, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see just what is going on when it comes to the month of January 2022 for you and your monthly astrology. Just a quick heads up, however, if you're watching this prior to the 15th of December, might want to sign up for my 2-hour webinar all about the major astrological and energetic shifts of 2022. That's going to be on the 15th. That's a Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, US and Canada. And you can do that at my website, integrativemysticism.com, the same place you would go if you wanted to get a reading with me. If you cannot make that or you already missed it, that's okay. I will also have the replays available for purchase immediately the day after. So, what is going on when it comes to the month of January for you? January is actually a really cool month in the sense that we have a lot of the major moves kind of divided in such a way that we can actually talk about this in terms of first half themes and second half themes, and that's what we're going to do. But don't worry, I've got dates on screen as I always do. Now to start, I do want to remind everybody that for the vast majority of the month, so through the 29th of January, we still have Venus retrograde, which we discussed in the December monthlies, and there's a whole special Venus retrograde video already up as well. Venus retrograde is in Capricorn, your 10th house of career, upward mobility, promotions, status, stature, and your legacy. And with Venus retrograde in Capricorn, it can be a really touchy time when it comes to interpersonal communications, loyalties, and any kind of commitments you may have going on in your career. When it comes to work, the people that you are interacting with the most, whether it's your team, colleagues, peers, rivals, as well as clients and customers. The key themes that kind of come up with Venus retrograde are volatility, insecurity, escapism, and instability. And we can often see this occur because Venus retrograde is putting pressure on the cracks that are already there. So things that ultimately were kind of hiding under the rug, or maybe things that we had turned a blind eye to, elephants in the room, all of that is coming up to be revealed in a lot of your work relationships and your workplace loyalties. And so we're going to have to handle this with a bit of care, but we also don't want to ignore what comes up because it's coming up to be revealed, to be dealt with, released, resolved, not just ignored or swept back under the rug. Now, the first half of the month, while all that's going on, is still overwhelmingly positive. Everyone's going to have a great month. We've got the sun in that 10th house of career as well, taking a bit of the edge off with that Venus retrograde, bringing attention, enhancement, and support to your area of career, upward mobility. Again, how you are acquiring more wealth and increasing your status and promoting yourself. And with the sun in the 10th house, you're going to find that you are attracting a lot of new attention, not only to yourself and your role, your business, your presence, but also demand for the service or demand for the work or the products that you put out are going to be on the rise, or demands are going to be on the rise, I should say rather. And so you may find that you are actually getting treated as a much more valuable employee or a more valuable business, a more valuable commodity in your field. You can use this very, very well, even if Venus retrograde is there. We also have Mercury in Aquarius from the 2nd through the 14th direct. He doesn't turn direct till later. We'll get there. And Mercury, the planet of communications, haste, and speed, will be in your 11th house of friendships, social networking, your platonic support system, the guys, the girls, adventures, and your biggest, most loftiest ideals. And with Mercury in the 11th house, it's a beautiful time to speed up productivity as well as hasten the progress towards the accomplishment of a major personal ideal, whether this is something deeply personal to you, it's not related to career, it's not related to family or love or anything like that. This could be a bucket list item. This could be a big trip you want to take. This is also a wonderful time to open up lines of communication with more friends because you are actually getting a lot more well known with this Mercury aspect. You are having your name travel farther and travel faster. You're going to be feeling very, very popular throughout the course of the month. You know, all kinds of new relationships, alliances, and connections coming your way and converging around you. We also have Mars, the planet of action, passion, energy, that driving force, the obstacle clearing force in Sagittarius, which is your ninth house of higher education, government and legal proceedings, travel, culture, your spiritual path and practice, and your reach, right? Your reach and the amount of territory that you have to explore and to work with. And when we have Mars in Sagittarius, that popularity boost that we saw with Mercury is doubled. And so a lot of you Aries people are going to be really enjoying this opportunity to not only get discovered, have a bit of a 15 minutes of fame kind of experience, but you are also noticing that people are showing up for you to help you tackle old obstacles, do a lot of block busting when it comes to generating awareness about yourself, clearing or releasing old standards, policies, status quos, or commitments that you had made in the past or had been imposed upon you that were limiting your movements, whether it's literally limiting your movements if you've been trying to make some kind of major transition in that way, or limiting your ability to work or matriculate or actually expand on your own knowledge, expand on your own cultural understanding, or maybe even get into a space where you are able to break a glass ceiling, either in your field or your spiritual practice. We also have a new moon in the first 2 weeks of the month in Capricorn, your 10th house of career, upward mobility, as well as promotions, your status and station. And so a new moon, remember, is all about new beginnings, new cycles, and seed planting. And you're going to see a new demand emerge in your work life or at the job or maybe in your field, in your industry. This could show up in the form of a new boss, a new standard, a new policy, possibly even a new role or a new position opening up that you are going to be able to sink your teeth into, and it'll fit you like a glove. For some of you, this would also be a great time to consider making a jump with a new job opportunity or a new service that you would like to offer in order to really cash in on all of this really strong promotional energy that we're seeing throughout the first half of the month. And this window period lasts from the 2nd of January through the 17th of January. Now, the second half of the month, we've got the sun moving into Aquarius. And that is your 11th house. We spoke about that with Mercury, the 11th house of friendships and social networking, the platonic support system. The sun bringing that attention, enhancement, and support here is going to be working on creating deeper bonds and stronger connections, even healing relationships with friends or with social groups. And again, this is more of a focus on mending things that have become distant or things that have not been as kinetic. There doesn't seem to be as intimate or as close an exchange. And so with that extra strength behind the bonding opportunities, not only are we drawing in a lot of close friends this month, but you're able to also heal things that have maybe been thrown off course or maybe dented or maybe suffered a bit of distancing. And so you may be finding that a lot of friends you'd lost touch with, and we'll touch back on this in a second, are also going to be available for you to kind of rebuild very strong relationships with, that brother from another mother, that sister from another mother, that kind of rebuilding or reassessing a sense of community and tribe for you. We also have Mars moving into Capricorn, your 10th house of career, that upward mobility, status, station, promotions, all of that good stuff. Mars, that action force, that driving force, is bringing you into a space where you are making a lot of money in the second half of the month. Because whenever Mars goes into an income sector, like the 10th house, we often see this focus on, all right, get ready for some serious overtime. Get ready to, maybe have to burn a bit of the midnight oil, because you are getting into a space where the atmosphere is getting very competitive, but competitive in a good way. With Mars in the 10th house, you're going to be noticing that not only is there a lot more work to do, or there's a lot more money to be made through labor, but the atmosphere in your industry, or the atmosphere in your field is getting very competitive as well, which is giving you the opportunity to climb. Just be careful, because Mars in the 10th house, when we talk about competition, we want to remember to know how to compete sportingly, not get personal, don't let things get ugly, and for the love of God, don't sell out. When it comes to the Mercury retrograde, which a lot of you have probably already heard about, yes, Mercury does turn retrograde this month on the 14th and will be in Capricorn and Aquarius both this month. So Mercury retrograde's doing a lot of work. He starts off in Aquarius through the last week of the month retrograde. So from the 14th to the 25th, he will be retrograde in Aquarius, and then he will slide back into Capricorn. With the 11th house and 10th house highlighted here, this is going to be all about you both, in both areas, in both respects, picking up opportunities that you had lost or left behind or had blocked or deferred in some way. Because Mercury retrograding in the 11th house is a very nostalgic, very sweet, very loving experience. It's one of the most benign or even beneficial places to have Mercury retrograde, because you're getting a chance to revisit and restore friendships, which we already saw with the sun. And you're also getting a chance to bring things back from happier times in your past. With Mercury retrograde in the 10th house, Capricorn, in the last week of the month, we're also going to be seeing you getting a chance to do a lot of revision, revisits, and rearrangements around your work ethic, what you're actually putting out there. Old career opportunities are likely to come back on the table as well, whether it's things that you maybe missed out on, transfers, or feel passed over, or other openings that closed or reopening again. It's going to be a bit of a confusing time, because sometimes Mercury retrograde can make it very difficult to decide what you want to actually put your investment in or invest your time in, but allow yourself to have these options. Finally, we have the full moon in Cancer on the 17th, opening up another 2-week window, which takes us into February. This is your 4th house of home and family, the domicile, your roots, and this is all about culminations, climax, and transitions. And when we have a full moon in the 4th house, it's time to close a chapter in either our family life, our living situation, or even close up or resolve a long-standing story or long-standing trend. This can be incredibly liberating for a lot of you folks, especially when it comes to putting old family challenges to bed, whether it's things going on in your nuclear family, in your household, or things relating maybe even to your extended family or your relatives from your childhood. That being said, it could also be a very tense time, because the full moon in the 4th house can also raise the roof a little bit when it comes to emotionality and family matters. However, this could also be very beneficial for those of you looking to make a big jump when it comes to some kind of move, maybe literally moving, relocating, or making a plan to transition to a better home economic situation for yourself and your household. So that is what I've got for you, Aries people. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And don't forget, if you are interested in the webinar or getting a session with me, you need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.